Oh, there you go. Good morning.
Yay! We
Good
are
morning.
live,
You.
Mr. Nigel.
I see you
Good morning to
got the
you.
memo then.
What was that?
I said, I see you got the memo.
The memo, yes, I see, yes.
Being color
Great
coordinated.
minds, you know what it is? Great minds think alike. That's what
You were
it
vibrating
is.
on my frequency about it.
Ooh. So how are you this morning?
It's good. Bouncing along. I had interesting morning bathing the dogs this morning. That was quite an episode. So they all have clean coats again, and but being white fur for about 75% of their bodies.
Right.
You know, especially the big one who's asleep in front of me down here.
Well, at some point you got to show them to us.
I will.
Good morning. Let us know
I will.
where you're connecting from in the chat. I saw somebody
we have
started. So I am so thrilled to be here. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Barbie Show with Nigel Smart, my good friend. Oh, we have 6 people. Yay! This is exciting. Can you see the chat? Can you see the chat, Nigel?
Yeah.
So we were just connecting. This is our first official live, and this is our first take. So all around the board.
Yeah, it's doing it perfectly and working out how all these systems work, and doing this coast to coast with smiles.
Yes. And by the way, for those who are tuning in, this was not planned. We're both wearing purple. Good morning, Clarissa. How are you today? Great to see you here. You know what? I wish that I could see
everybody.
If I could have the comments up above. I've got to figure this one out so I don't look down.
Yeah,
I want to be able to see.
Would you get your act together, woman?
So last night I was cleaning my jewelry box. Yes, believe it or not, I have a really tall jewelry box that has been wrapped in saran wrap, traveling,
oh, you're unpacking
you know,
stuff.
with all this fruit. And I found this. I can't remember the designer, and I thought, how fun! I'll just put it on and be all glitzy this morning. But
you're being glitzy today.
Yeah, something like that. But I wanted to connect. Well, we wanted to connect this morning to share with you what our views are as it relates to no news is good news. So, you know, I'm trying to think, what could that possibly mean? Well, to me, yeah, exactly. To me, it's really interesting because I have a communications background, and I was really fortunate to do an intern for Cartoon Network Latin America as a publicist. And interestingly enough, you know, everything is really time derivative. You know, you've got your timelines and everything's just really stressful. Then from there, I moved over to CNN. And lo and behold, we know what stress can be like in the newsroom for those who have ever even ventured those or threaded through those waters. And so I think about how news has really changed throughout the years dramatically, you know, from the apparel that's been worn back in the days to where it is now, how informal it's become, which is great, you know, it's wonderful. You know, however, the news, as they say, if it bleeds, it leads in the news. So, you know, we're getting all this bad news in the news. It's so different from what it was, very factual back in the days. Today, we see that news has a tendency to bring us down sometimes. And so I have committed not to watch news. In fact, in this household, all we have is Wi-Fi. So there's no news. So if we want to watch Netflix or binge out on other things, which I don't have the time, my daughter has the time for whatever reason. I mean, when she should be doing her schoolwork. But yeah, you know, I was thinking about how fabulous it would be to go on a news fast, you know, and focus and focus more on connecting with our families, with our loved ones, you know, and, you know, take walks like today's Sunday, by the way, happy Sunday, everyone. You know, things of that nature, you know, where we can physically connect with humanity instead of being all down about the news and what's going to happen a week from now or a year from now. So I just wanted to take your, you know, have your take, Nigel, on this particular subject, you know, because we are happy souls and we should really be that way, and we should be connecting with others. It's so beautiful, everything that it surrounds us. So what is your take as
Well,
you drink your lemon water?
You were beginning to freak me out with the vibes there, because you asked me about this yesterday, and yeah, I was thinking about it as I was walking my two dogs last night, and I have a similar take to you, but not quite the same. But let's explore that. What I was looking at. So, what does news mean to everybody? And I suppose, you know, we're talking about broadcast news, which you've already brought up. Your background in CNN and all that. Yeah, I can see that. But you rightly identify and correctly identify that today the news has become entertainment. It's not news anymore, really. It's, some would say, it's propaganda. You know, we had an election here in the United States. It was extremely contentious on all sides. And you're right, it has made us grabby in terms of what's going on, what's this, what's that, and our attention span, because we're, you know, with our phones all the time, we're 24/7. You know, I think the average amount of time that people are spending on phones, on their social media, is something like an outrageous 8 to 9 hours a day. It makes you wonder what people are doing with the rest of their lives. As I talk to people, and I think I mentioned this to you in one of our conversations probably last week, one of the things that people are saying to me now is, you know, things have changed. We've been forced, in some respects, not to do the things that we're doing, that our lifestyle has taken us into. It's put a brake on things. And in some respects, we're starting to do some of the habits and rituals, we talked about this yesterday, habits and rituals, that we did when we were children or our parents' generation. And I thought that's curious. That's really curious. So I started to think about this, and I was thinking, you know, no news is news. I started to ask myself, what is the breaking news, to quote a CNN Wolf Blitzer breaking news? What's the breaking news in Barbie's life? What's the breaking news in Nigel's life? And what's the breaking news in our lives? Because if we look internally and start to explore what's the breaking news in the changes that we're making, we might actually find greater peace there, greater serenity, less anxiety, less stress. And then it starts us to ask questions. Is this who I want to be? Or how can I be somebody better going forward? So what do you think about that?
Oh, I absolutely, you know, and there's someone here on the chat, Jack. He worked in publishing, so he knows all the timeline and the stress. So I relate really well with you, Jack. It is, times have really have changed, rightfully so. And it's really interesting, you know, being on social media, I get approached often to be a part of a show of some sort. And, you know, my life is a little on the hectic side, so unfortunately I can't do so. But yeah, it has a way of deviating you and your purpose in life. I mean, when we can be focused on progressing our lives, you know, maybe in business, you know, with me, I'm always thinking I've got those channels, just those wheels turning. And, you know, I've got my goals for today, but again, going back to my Stephen Covey quadrants that I was talking to you about yesterday, you know,
Yeah.
I want to focus to be balanced. That's my whole objective. So I'm not all lopsided. So I know today for a fact, I've got to take my daughter to the beach. Yes. You know, she's just been asking me because it's been raining out here in San Diego. So it looks like today may be an actually beautiful day, which is nice. And today I hope to spend a little bit of time focusing on my business and, you know, connecting spiritually too. That's really important because that feeds our soul. That's super important. At least for me it is.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even picking up the phone and connecting with someone that you haven't spoken to in a long time. It's another great thing. I know my sister reached out to me this morning. Victoria, if you're watching, I'm going to connect with you. And, you know, those are the types of things that we need to do. Like, I haven't spoken to a cousin who just sent me a text this morning because one of our cousins underwent heart surgery. And so, you know, I said, oh, I haven't talked to you. I'd love to connect with you. You know, those types of things mean, you know, even if it's whatever practice you have, if it's the Sabbath that you call it or a Sunday, you know, try to connect because we lead such hectic lives throughout our day and not be influenced by so much outside sources such as the news that just really in reality just drags us down. So that was really what I meant by no news is good news. So it's just wonderful not to hear those news, but it's wonderful to receive news from those who are seeking to connect with us.
Right.
So I absolutely think of that oftentimes, you know, particularly during the week when it's so hectic and I'm looking for, Sundays are my relaxation days. So it's one of those things that I just look forward to connecting with everybody and my daughter and even my pet, you know, my dog.
You find it calming?
Go out for a walk. Pardon?
You find it calming and it's taking the anxiety away. A lot of, we're getting bombarded, as you say, 24/7 with the news or negative things, and so that's very destabilizing. It's sort of ratcheting up the anxiety all the time, and it's okay to turn around and say, you know, I'll tune in for 10 minutes and get headline news or something like that, for example. Or I'll jump on the internet and I'll get some news. So at least you know what's going on in the world. Like there's no, tsunami disaster, or you in California, the fires are not rolling down the hill going to burn your house down, or floods or something like that around the rest of the country. Or, like a hurricane coming on board down in Florida or Louisiana or what have you. So I think it's important to stay connected, but we don't need to be as connected with the traditional news as we think we do. I think we've been spoon-fed the fact that you need 24/7 news, and you don't. And this idea of appreciating, I think that's what you're saying. You're appreciating other things, so you're creating, replanting the diversity of your life back into yourself. And then you're fertilizing that, so to speak. You're watering it and you're nurturing the things that bring value to you, take that energy level down, and give you a purpose to, as I said, to start asking yourself, what do I want out of life? Where am I going with my life? And then you can start to set some priorities and ask the question, what do I need to do to make X, Y, and Z happen? And that's the idea of the transformation that we talk about very often. That's how you get, as we said yesterday, the to-done list as well as the to-do list. You have your to-done list, which shrinks your to-do list, and your to-do list becomes empowering, because those are the things that you really want out of life. That's the juice out of life. Those are the things that you're passionate about. And as Tony, one of our mentors, says, live life with passion. And I think we do. We try every day, don't we?
Absolutely. People think, how are you so happy? I am happy because I really strive for that balance. You know, if you're all work, 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 all stressed, all working, you know, towards making more money, you know, it shows, you live it, you know, and then that becomes a habit. It's like a habit. You've got to work out that muscle to think positive every single day. Make it a positive, not, you know, the world is not all about positivity. I'm not so much of, I don't want to
Yeah.
portray
Happy,
that.
happy.
Yeah, you've got
It's not
to
all
have
that
nice,
happy. It's
yeah,
getting real with it, but creating a habit of balance.
it's a beautiful morning. You know, it's like we've got to make life what it is. And I believe this wholeheartedly. And yeah, so what are you going to do with your day today?
I'm going to do a little bit like you. I've got my two puppies that are here in my sunroom with me on the floor down here. They're snoozing. They've had their run. They've had their morning part of their meal break. Then they're upstairs in the bath. They had the bath. They're all nice and clean. So they're sleeping it off now. I will wake them up and we will go for a walk in the sunshine. It's very sunny here. It's very cool. It was like 26 degrees last night. It's very frosty. I had a massive log fire last night. It was really great. So after we've taken the walk, then I'm going to catch up on a few business things. And then I promised myself today that I'm going to spend a couple of hours working on one of my classic vintage cars that I have that I'm rebuilding. And after that, I'm open. I've done my laundry this morning. I'm on top of my to-do jobs.
Good.
I'm going to cut myself some slack. You know, I'm going to have some buffer time, and whatever I feel like doing at that time, I'm going to do.
Dude, you know what? Because Monday's right around the corner, and there's more that's on our to-do to get our to done with, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah. So, you know, for those who are just tuning in, Nigel is a personal friend of mine who is also an author, and he's going to be publishing his book at the end of this month approximately. There's no definitive time, you know, that's kind of top secret, I suppose. Pardon?
We're going to try. I'm trying to launch with 3 or 4 other authors, some of whom you know. And the publisher says the 18th of February. So we will see.
Yeah, almost a month.
We will see. A month, yeah.
You know, it's really interesting. We were talking about this COVID, and one of the things that I felt so impressed to do during, you know, in March, the end of March, was to write a book. And so I spent all my time focusing every day a little bit, and I was able to accomplish that. And that's something kind of neat too about pulling ourselves, extracting ourselves from the news and the TV, and making the most of our lives. You know, books are fabulous,
Right.
in that we're able to leave a legacy to our children and then to their children. So I am all for what you're doing. I think it's beautiful. And
I think it's about some of it's, Barbie, do you find that you were exploring yourself as you did it? You were exploring your thoughts. So this idea of breaking news, the breaking news of Barbie, I bet if I interviewed you for the rest of the day, I could have material for a book. No, seriously. But it's like, what's your breaking news? You know, what are the things that are going on? There's Babette. He's getting big.
He's gotten so big. Look how big before. And the other show that I did, I was holding her. Now she's huge.
Yeah, I love a lot in 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. So you were saying if you were interviewing me,
if I was interviewing you, you know, and I think you almost you interview yourself when you're doing this exploration, when you're creating, you're digging deep, you're asking questions, you're curious, and then you ask questions, and then it's like, and you put your thoughts down, and they're random. I mean, I have books all over the place here, just in case I have a thought, because I like to record things. And I find the actual process of of having a little notepad and or like a journal and a pen with it, and to write things down as quick as I can in some sort of shorthand that is totally legible even to myself at times. But I find that more therapeutic. I know I use my phone sometimes. Used to have a dictaphone thing that I would use, but I don't find that as effective. It's sometimes the idea of writing, it slows your thoughts down or crystallizes them a little more. But you start to get curious and ask the questions, and you start to explore themes. You think, oh, that's interesting. Maybe I'll come back to that later. Maybe I'll go and work out. And then you come back, juice
and it's in the back. You know what?
Yeah,
Exactly.
but it's this idea of exploring what I'm calling the breaking news that's in your head, the breaking news in your life. It might seem trivial, but actually, when we talk, when we get together in our groups and we talk about issues and topics, it's amazing actually what comes out. And those things are very impactful in terms of, as we say, pushing the needle in a particular direction. And pushing the needle in a particular direction, I think, is kind of sums up what we're about. We're passionate people. We want to live on the, not on the edge, but at the limit. We don't want to be redlining, to use a car term or a driving term, but we want to be revving pretty high because we want to experience the juice of life. We want to feel thrilled about whatever we're doing, whether it's a business thing or going down the beach or connecting with our friends and our family, watching our children. I had my family yesterday, and it was great. For a few moments when I took them back to their mother, because we have houses that are not very far away from each other. Yeah, I was a little sad for a few moments, and then it was a case of, well, come on, I've got these guys, and now I turn my attention to that, and it's really interesting. I think this is where the mental conditioning is important, because when you mentally condition yourself, it allows you, some people say to me, I was going to say, it allows you to compartmentalize things quite effectively. Folks have told me when I was going through my divorce, goodness gracious, how do you compartmentalize things? And I said, I don't know, but I do, because I don't want to let aspects of one part of my life negatively impact the other. So I was always fiercely protective, as we say. I was guarding my mind
Shield.
when those were, yeah. But it wasn't like a steel band around me, because I want to feel. I wanted to feel the emotions. I wanted to feel things that were not related to when we were going through a divorce, for example. But I want to feel, yeah, if things are not right, I want to feel that, because I have enough belief and strength in my own ability to reason those things and deal with them. I think if you don't feel, you're never going to know the highs of life.
Absolutely.
You have to both counterbalance, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's so easy to shut things off, in our lives, just because we're like, nope, I'm not going there. But the reality is we've got to learn from that experience that we've had to overcome and use it as a teaching tool for us moving forward. And it's really interesting. I think it's a fabulous thing that you do that. You're able to connect with yourself, and as a result, you're healing your soul too. And it's
you're building it up, aren't you? You're building it up all the time. I think that's the idea. I say to myself, this is not bad news. This is not bad. Oh, damn, why did that happen? No, actually, that is serving me. It's flipping the coin over. It's serving me. So hopefully now I'm going to be more effective hopefully in communications the next time around. We talked about this a number of times. Doing the same thing over and over again is crazy. is one of Einstein's famous quotes. So I think that we're always trying to learn. And as I said to you last time, I think one of my really dear friends that I met about 5 years ago, she taught me, you know, out of every experience, out of everything that you see that's negative, there's always a silver lining.
Always.
There's always something positive that you can take out of every experience. And that was a quite a transition point for me, because you do think, oh, you do think, why is this going on? Why does this happen to me? And now you're playing the victim. You're having the pity party.
I love
And
that.
you know, Tony Robbins. I know Tony Robbins always says, you know, ask better questions, and it's true. If you ask the question, well, how is this potentially serving me? Then you can flip that immediately and say, actually, this is not hurting me. It's actually taught me something. I won't do that again, or I will try and not do that again. Or how can I do something in a different way that this does not happen again? And if we do that, we grow, don't we?
Absolutely. I totally embrace each and every challenge that comes into my life. My life is not all unicorns, you know. I just underwent a ridiculous move. I've got to manage a child that's super incredibly active with ADHD, a lot of redirecting. It's like direct. I'm just constantly doing this. And then, you know, you have to train a puppy. It's like, so I essentially feel like I have 2 children, but, you know, and the experience that COVID has brought in a business sense, and, you know, how we collaborate with a number of different people in our circles. And, you know, there's always room to grow, you know, and assess and extract ourselves and see what exactly is going, and then it's going on around us, and we reassess for ourselves how we're going to move forward. But really, just we're at the top of the hour, and I don't want to keep everybody here when I'm trying to tell them good news. No news, what is it? No news is good news. But I just wanted to take a moment just to get you to reflect a little bit on your life. You know, today is Sunday. Make the absolute most of it. Connect with humanity. Remove yourself from the sofa, from, you know, watching TV all day, and go out there and do something that will nourish your soul.
And be grateful.
Yeah.
Be grateful for the fact that you've got good health, because my mother always used to say, Nige, you know, when you've got no health, you've got nothing. And I've never forgotten that, you know. And as we age, as we have a few issues, you know, it's something that you have to remember. This isn't a freebie. You can't take it for granted.
We're not getting young.
Tomorrow, you know, I talked to a guy yesterday who'd had a heart attack, and I thought, oh my goodness, you know.
Oh wow. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Life is meant to be enjoyed, and not obsess over all the negativity. There's really a lot of beauty amongst all that darkness. And, you know, it's really up to us to practice that mental muscle, you know, build it and make it strong. So we're able to overcome when those obstacles do come to us. But I challenge each and every one here today that may be tuning in. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the comments. You know, we're really curious what topics you would like us to cover. So if you'll put it in the chat, what is something that you're curious about? We focus predominantly on connecting with ourselves, and particularly after a divorce, and with relationships and children, and you know, managing life, you know, business and thriving, and we strive to look high as opposed to low, because there's always a sunny side to the dark side. And I challenge each and every one to go out there and make the most of your day to day. You know, it's whether it's raining, if it's raining outside, make sure that you're able to connect with your children, do something for yourself. Plan, set goals moving forward. What are you going to accomplish this week? I'm the taskmaster, so I've got my list here of things to do. But yeah, there's absolutely so much that life has to offer. And that is our encouragement to you today, to go out there and make the absolute most of it. And I am so thrilled we got to do this. We're connected today. You know, it's like, whoa, the waves are just, we're wearing our purple. And I'm so thrilled, Nige, to be connected to you and to do this live. We succeeded the second go round, you know? So
Yeah.
I'm really thrilled. But I hope you have a terrific day yourself today.
And you. And you.
All right.
Okay.
You guys have a
You're
good one. Until tomorrow at 9 here, if you wish to connect for us for whatever reason, you can connect through our messaging, the instant messaging that Facebook offers, or feel free to reach out in our comments. And there's more to come here in the coming 28 days. Yes! So sending great love to everyone today. You take care. Bye now.
Bye.
Terrific
And you.
day. Thank you.